Hello and welcome to Movie Night. I'm joined here today with Albert Jennings, and today we're going to be talking about the Cornetto Trilogy. This is a movie night triple feature. It's unheard of,
It's very
unprecedented.
exciting. You get three films for the price of one.
Even though we don't run ads, it's on YouTube. So go out to your work, Harvey, please. Thank you. So a little background, I suppose. It stars Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, all three films, and they're directed by Edgar Wright, who I am very much a fan of, and as I'm a fan of, it's just a dream team basically of like really funny people, and they you can tell they're really good friends with all the actors because they stay with them throughout all the films, and they kind of all have the same sense of humor and the same kind of artistic, I suppose, ideas. So, well, why don't you tell us a little bit about this?
Yes, I think the first thing I need to do before we continue on with this is I have to say a big happy birthday to one of our founding members in Ed. You can comment your happy birthday messages to him. I think that's very important to highlight. But yes, anyway, so to highlight the three films in the Cornetto trilogy: Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End. Mm-hmm. And I guess the sort of the aim of all of them is to try and do a different genre. I think in each one. Seeing like Shaun of the Dead's horror. Yeah. Hot Fuzz is a sort of police type action movie, and A World's End is a sort of sci-fi one. So yes, should we just talk about each one?
Yeah. So I guess Shaun of the Dead, that was what came out.
I guess that came first.
Yeah.
Sounds
so
like a reasonable place to start.
Simon Pegg, I remember hearing that he was a massive fan of like zombie films, but he thought that. Well, he was a massive fan of the idea of a zombie film, but he thought that the genre wasn't not really a genre, but the subject matter wasn't really kind of used appropriately. I remember there was in the book of A Walking Dead, there's an interview with him in the back that says like he basically says that the focus of a zombie survival is the effect on the characters and like how they respond to because zombies in and of themselves aren't very interesting at all. They've been done a million times by this point. So, but what it does open it up to do is a very interesting dynamic between the characters, where kind of death is literally staring them in the face all the time, and so that can it opens up for a lot of unique character interaction. But a lot of zombie films don't capitalize on that. They just like to show people chainsawing zombies in half. So that's I think one of the inspirations for Shaun of the Dead, and also a zombie horror, a zombie comedy isn't necessarily while zombies themselves are a bit oversaturated now, it's like zombie horror, zombie comedy is quite a unique thing to. So
I can't really think of any other examples of this kind of thing in the past. There probably will be.
The one thing I can think of is Zombieland, but I'm not sure if that came out before or after. And that was primarily action anyway. So. So I mean, throughout all these films, you can just tell that they're having a blast. Really, they enjoy what they're doing.
It looks like it would be very fun to do.
They just look like they're having so much fun, and they're just like not taking it very seriously, but it's like still just making a cracking film. And throughout all of these, this applies to all of them. It's just Edgar Wright's kind of.
I was going to say the direction is great.
So brilliant. Like no, there's no kind of nothing's really expected. Nothing is portrayed in one very cut and dry way. It's just all they experiment a lot, and that's what I quite like. And it's just like it just feels like a lot of comedies nowadays are not trying very hard. Like they think of a funny script or funny use that term loosely. And then that's the end of it. But Edgar Wright uses a lot of visual comedy. And that's not just people falling over. That's I believe there's a bit where a zombie jumps into the pub and they start hitting him with a snooker, and it's to the beat of "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen, and it's playing in the background, and that's it's that kind of thing.
This is sort of cutscenes and things that just
the montages
just work really well. It gives credit to the people who made it in terms of how well it's actually been made.
It's brilliant, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are astounding.
At its heart, of course, it is just a very funny, well acted, well made, well written film.
Yes, exactly. Simon Pegg and Nick Frost they've got that good sense of comedic timing, as does Edgar Wright, knowing when to cut and stuff. And it's just the way, the characters, they really sold me on them, just because I don't know, I imagine that's what they're like in real life to an extent.
I think it does work when you sort of when they're friends in real life.
Exactly.
It makes it.
I really like Shaun of the Dead. Basically, it's one of those things where you can watch over and over again, and you can see little details.
I agree. Yeah, right.
It never really gets boring, so it's just full of life and energy. So
I would agree. I would definitely agree.
So the second film, Hot Fuzz, is similar in style, I suppose, although it takes a completely different story, but it still has that kind of juvenile, like not taking itself very seriously vibe to it.
Yeah.
Especially from the ending plot twist, which I won't spoil because that's probably the highlight for me. Essentially, I like. Again, Edgar Wright. I think he even got better in this one.
I think that this is the best one.
Pinnacle,
in terms of this is sort of visual stuff.
Yes, definitely.
It's definitely really good.
There's just so much there's a lot of visual storytelling that isn't in any other film. I'm sure they would just dump exposition on you, but it's like that. Like the thing that comes to mind is near the beginning of the film where he moves to the country and he's holding the plant pot. And that remains the focus of the whole thing, and he gets on the train, and his signal slowly goes down, and without saying anything, you can understand he's going away from society, he's going to a barren wasteland in the England countryside.
Even the very beginning bit where it's sort of like introducing his character.
Yes, yeah.
I think that works really well. Sometimes I've seen things where they've done that as a sort of introducing the character type thing, and it's just terribly done. But it just works so well.
Oh God, yeah. No, there'll be something in a bad film. There'll be some narration over the top. It's like, my name's Simon. No, what's his name?
Or like something where it'll sort of like there's action going on, it'll pause on that character.
Oh yeah, and this is what happened before.
Hi.
Yeah. Oh,
you may be wondering what I'm doing in this scene.
Oh,
it's just dear. But
it flows nicely.
Very good. It's very well done.
It's amazing. It's I suppose all these films are kind of a parody, although because this is quite a parody of like kind of.
But they feel like although they're a parody, I think they feel like quite sort of an affectionate parody.
Yes, definitely.
So,
they're done out of love.
They love these action films.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're trying to sort of send it up.
Yeah, and they're trying to poke a bit of fun of it, but also show that they can actually make good action themselves. Because the action set pieces themselves are actually really well choreographed.
They're good in those.
Very good. And then, of course, because it's kind of doesn't take itself very seriously, it lends itself to a lot more kind of enjoyable and more vibrant action scenes because you're not expecting some. It's not like. I don't know, another generic action film where everything's all gritty and all grounded and everyone's all, grizzly old men. But at the end of Hot Fuzz, it's like he goes in with 10 guns on him. A granny pops up from behind the bar with a shotgun. It's brilliant.
Very funny, very funny. I could watch it.
Same, yeah.
So many times, and I would still find it really funny.
It's amazing. I love it.
And I think that's a sign of a good comedy film.
Oh yeah.
And I think why it's more difficult to do comedy in that respect and get it right.
Yeah.
Because you got to sort of almost come back to it again and still laugh.
Yes, yeah.
Which is difficult. It's very difficult to do.
I think a lot of
that well.
I think a lot of that does come from the visual comedy aspect because I think once you know the punchline of a joke, it's kind of a bit, if you know it, then you aren't gonna laugh as hard. But it's just seeing something visually funny, seeing a granny pop up from behind the pub with a shotgun. It's just always going to be funny.
It's naturally funny.
Obviously, it's not going to be as unexpected, but it's still going to make you laugh. I mean,
and you can pick up on things you might not see.
Exactly. Yeah, there's plenty of hidden details here throughout all the films that I'm sure I've glossed over. I'm sure I've missed 1,000 of them, but it's brilliant. I love Hot Fuzz. It's definitely my favourite.
Yeah, it's very good.
Out of the trilogy.
Yeah.
So the last one is The World's End, and now. This one is a bit. I don't want to say departure from the norm, but it's certainly. It was certainly. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It was certainly taken differently by the audiences. I think.
So this is the science fiction. Apocalypse type one.
Yeah.
And it's as the last one in the trilogy. I think it had the biggest sort of. Expectation,
budget,
both budget and expectation from from people watching it.
Definitely.
They expected something really, really good, and I think that's part of its issue. When I was watching The World's End, I watched it third. I watched it the two first.
Yeah.
And I did just feel all the way through just a sort of almost a sense of expectation. Like I expected it to get better. And I expected to really like be laughing like I had in the first two, but it never just. It's still a good film.
Yeah, definitely.
It's still a film I enjoyed, but it's just not quite. It's just not as good.
I think this is what I was trying to say. I think the biggest difference here is there's a lot more focus on the character. So the roles are slightly the roles are slightly reversed now, in that Simon Pegg is the kind of alcoholic, off the rails type person. Then Nick Frost plays the kind of straight laced, typical mature adult. And I think there's a lot more effort put on what that actually does to your friendship. Like there's a big dramatic moment near the end where basically, and the whole plot is basically that I can't remember Simon Pegg's character's name, but it's that he is like recovering alcoholic and he doesn't want to be, and like there's that whole. I'm sorry if I just spoiled it, but it's that whole.
I think that's established reasonably early on. So
but yeah, it's that whole dynamic between the friendship and how he's basically not wanting to let go of his youth, and that's still explained a lot through comedy. Like near the beginning, it's like I believe it's a flashback to when he was younger and he was at the night out and he looks into the hill and he's like, oh, this is never going to end. And then it cuts to him like in a job or something like really boring. Yeah. And so there's still a lot of visual storytelling, visual comedy.
I think as well with The World's End, I could watch it when I'm, I don't know, 20 years time or something. Yeah. I think I might perhaps get it a bit more.
Yeah, I think it is.
Might be able to relate a bit more, yeah.
I think The World's is designed slightly more for adults. I think, I as much as I do think Hot Fuzz is better, I do think World's End is very good kind of on its own. I don't think it's necessarily it's not really the same type of film as the other two. It's slightly more kind of straight-faced and kind of takes itself a little bit more seriously, although still not.
Yeah,
really,
you do. I think that it's still superior to many, the vast majority of comedy films in terms of. But it's like trying to follow. You've had two really, really good courses at your meal. It's just very difficult to follow.
Yeah, I think they tried to subvert that in a way by making it slightly different and changing it, by mixing it up a bit. And I think, and because it is the trilogy, I think they decided to go a bit more like, maybe a bit more, what's the word, dramatic, a bit more like, prevalent, not just like a silly comedy film, which is perfectly good on its own. But like, if it's the end of a trilogy, I think they tried to make it maybe a bit more climactic. I don't know really. Yeah,
it's still got a really good cast as well.
Oh, exactly. Yeah,
and it's very well done. Yeah.
I actually saw this one before the other two, so maybe this is just me, but I think Simon Pegg worked as the kind of not straight one, and then Nick Frost actually worked as the straight one equally as well as the other way around. Yeah, I don't think that I was not sold on that. I think that was still worked very well, and all the other cast are very good as well. I like this whole dynamic of like people past their prime.
I quite like the swapping around of. I quite like the swapping around of people, but. I forgot what I was going to say. I've been distracted.
No, yeah.
Yeah, no, I say the swapping around of people works quite well, because if you have it the same, it's almost like just the same sort of thing for the
exactly.
It works quite well in swapping around there.
And that's what I think it comes down to. That's I'm guessing they were trying to show. Because I mean, at that point, when was it made? 2013.
It was 2013. Yeah.
The other two were made in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So.
Shaun of the Dead's 2004. Hot Fuzz 2007. Yeah.
Right. So they were getting like not old, but like they were getting reasonably old. Maybe they wanted to make something a bit more close to home, I suppose. Like the whole plot is about people who have moved on in their lives and they want to still be like young, and I think that was what one of the inspirations for Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead was like wanting to be kind of juvenile again and make a kind of silly movie they would have liked when they were kids. And maybe at World's End they thought maybe we should make a film that actually shows how we feel. But maybe I'm overanalyzing it. I don't know.
No, I know what you mean.
But I like that. I definitely love The World. I like all of them.
They're all good films. I say The World's End just suffers.
I imagine a lot of people were disappointed.
Expectation. as I was watching it, I thought this isn't as good.
No.
But then I think if you watched it by itself, you'd still
Yeah.
think this was a good film.
Yeah.
It was an enjoyable
Exactly.
film.
Perhaps that's why I enjoyed it more. As I said, I watched it first, so
Yeah,
I didn't have that
perhaps,
expectation. So, but yeah, no, as you said, they're much better than 90% of other comedy films in the
Yeah,
market
you
right
know,
now. It's still
it's-
got that amazing. I think he's even. I think there's a definite, very slight but noticeable leap in quality from Edgar Wright between Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz.
I think if I had to rank them in terms of my
That's a good
favourite, I
one.
would say I think Hot Fuzz is my favourite.
Yeah.
Then Shaun of the Dead, and then The World's End.
Yeah, I would be quite similar. I would say Hot Fuzz as my favourite, and I think it's honestly a tie between World's End and Shaun of the Dead.
I know what you
actually.
mean.
But they're all very close together anyway. I think I could
They're all,
watch
they're
any
all,
of
they're all-
them.
Yeah, I could
and
watch
be
any of them quite
content.
happily. But Hot Fuzz is quite a bit my favourite.
Yeah.
I find it really funny.
Exactly, yeah.
I think it works because it's got both the story and the characters work are at their actually
Yeah.
peak there.
Yeah. I mean, there's still a lot of character study in that film as well, but it's done a bit. I suppose it's done a bit less like straight cut than in World's End, which is why probably I prefer it a bit more. So, yeah, I think ultimately, if you like the sound of this, if you haven't seen it for whatever reason, you're an idiot. So go check it out.
yeah.
I'm sure you can
We
get
definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. Yeah. I think Edgar Wright's actually got a new film coming out soon.
I think he does actually. I think I saw that. Yeah.
Oh, it's something I've seen the poster for it a million times, but I can't remember the name.
I can't remember either.
I'm sure you'll be able to find it if you Google it.
Yeah.
So voice broke twice then. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.